Hello, and thank you for taking the time to review our second half of 2024 highlights. My name is Santosh Kapse, and I am Prime Senior Consultant certified in Employee Central, Compensation, Recruiting, and LMS modules. Also have expertise in Employee Central Service Center and WorkZone. I am located in London, UK, and work for Veritas Prime, a global SAP SuccessFactors partner. We are one of the world's leading HR transformative consultancies specialized in implementing and supporting success factors with clients across the globe. As part of our release coverage, I'll be reviewing some of key release updates for Employee Central, mainly related to integrations and extensions. For complete release analysis, you can connect with us on our website at veritasprime.com in the contact us link, or for current clients, reach out to your project managers or CSM. Let's begin by looking at our first highlight. This highlight talks about connecting multiple EC instances to same client of SAP, includes organizational object replication. In the previous version, you have seen that we could migrate or replicate organizational objects only from one SAP SuccessFactors Employee Central instance, even if you enable this connection for multiple instances. So, for example, if your company has three or more subsidiaries and each one of them have a different Employee Central instance, in that case, it was difficult to fetch the data from all the three instances. Now with this release, you can fetch the data related to object data from all the three instances at once to the S/4HANA system. So you can now also replicate organizational objects from different SuccessFactors Employee Central instances. Mainly, this feature was asked by core hybrid customers, which are using EC and SAP HCM systems, where EC is maintained in multiple Employee Central instances. Okay, moving on to the next feature, which is talks about filtering out terminated employments from employee data replication. So now replication of employee data from Employee Central using employment end date filter in the where clause. That means whenever you are using compound employee API, in that API, it's preventing terminated employees from being replicated from EC to S/4HANA or SAP ERP HCM. When you set the employment end date as the start date of full transmission start date that you define for employee data replication in Employee Central, this means that only employee that have been active or at least one day after the full transmission start date get replicated to SAP HCM by default. So this is good feature in a way that you will not uh, transfer or replicate the inactive employees from your legacy or your EC system into the SAP HCM system, right? So this will reduce the payload of transferring Employee Central data to SAP, and which improves the performance of the replication program, right? Also has better control over the things when you are transferring data for uh, terminated employees. So it will always send you the actual active employee after the full transmission start date that you set in the settings for transferring or replicating the data from EC to SAP ERP HCM or S/4HANA system by default. Okay, let's now talk about replicating newly hired employees who go on long-term leave on the very same date of the hiring or joining, right? Earlier, we didn't have any provision to add these employees in most of the organization. Let's say if employee joins and goes on the medical emergency leave on the same day that they have hired, uh, there was no provision to set them in the active employment status, right? So it usually used to go as no show in the system, and that's not the employment status employee is looking for, because employee is active with organization, and hence employee will look for employment status as active. So with this release, when employee goes on long-term leave on the very same day that they hired, a system is still capable to transfer this data from EC to S4 HANA system, and it will go as active status. Of all the configurations and events will be similar, like no show, but only difference is that employee will go as employment status active, and their organizational assignment also will look different than the no show case. So this is the change, and this is good change for employees who goes on the leave on the hire date itself. Okay, moving on to the next feature, which talks about supporting digital signature in the document generation using DocuSign. Earlier, we didn't have any functionality wherein employee or HR manager or people manager will sign the document digitally. Now, with this release, it has been allowed that employee or managers will able to digitally sign the document. Uh, so once you generate the PDF document, you will see documents are digitally signed from the system itself. So this is good feature for mainly for HRs and managers to generate any system documents which will be required by employee in their day-to-day life. Next feature is new national ID information with validity period. To support tracking lifelong changes to your national ID information, SAP have added validity fields like valid from and valid to for each national ID records in national ID information. So in most of the cases, if employee get transfer from one country to another country, uh, you will still have uh, visibility on employees different national ID, and those are delimited at the day employee leaves the country and joins into the new country. So yes, this is good feature to track the national ID information for employee. Next one is accessing pending approvals and future changes in latest people profile. So in the latest people profile has improved the way to access pending approvals and future changes. So accessing request is daily task, routine task for both employees and managers. This really needed a redefining and simplifying interface, and also gives a better user experience in terms of what are the workflows that are in the pending and that will be available in the future. If that information is available on the card itself, it's good for employee and managers mainly. As part of uh, 2H 2024, we have personal information, global informational, national ID information, address, work permit information, dependents, job information, job relationship, comp info, which includes recurring and non-recurring pay components, also employment information. So all these workflows will be available for managers, and they will have this simplified future changes and in the latest people profile, right? So user with required permission can view pending approval and future changes, both the card and the details of UI in entity. So this is good feature to have the look at future changes, upcoming changes for an employee, and everything will be displayed in one on the legacy on the people profile. All right, so we have calculated the efforts that are required to implement these features. So those are marked as NA, low, medium, high in the Excel sheet that's attached alongside to this. As a reminder, please reach out to your uh, current project managers or CSM for any other questions related to uh, release questions. So thank you for taking your time today. Thank you.